Thank you so much for joining us today. This is one of 18 additional webinars we'll be doing about all the different social media platforms and social media marketing in general. And it's brought to you by a collaboration of many, many people in our area, including MGCC, the Center for Women in Enterprise, SCORE, Common Capital, Valley Community Development, the Franklin County CDC, and the Massachusetts Small Business Development Centers from the University of Massachusetts, Clark, and Salem State. So we thank you for being with us. And this is a list of some of the upcoming webinars that you'll see. They're generally Mondays and Thursdays, unless there's a holiday, and then Monday becomes Tuesday. So we are following this one on Thursday with Facebook 2. We did Facebook 1 last week, and everything that we're doing is being captured so that you can go back. They're on Facebook Live immediately, and we'll upload them to our YouTube channel about 4 to 5 days later. This is the contact information for our collaborators on this program in case you'd like to get a hold of them directly, and we will be sending you the slides so you don't have to worry about making notes on that. And this is also all of the offices of the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center in the state, and we can also help with exporting and procurement technical assistance as well. So today, without further ado, we have Roberta Torres with us from Turim. And Roberta was one of our speakers last week, and everybody just totally loved him. And he's been helping small businesses build their social media presence through all sorts of social media platforms and also websites. And so he is now officially in that business. And Roberto, thank you so much for joining us. And let me stop sharing my screen so you can do yours.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Anita, and thank you for everyone for attending. I'm going to start with some slides, and then just as Anita mentioned, there's going to be some phone sharing. We'll see how it goes, but that would give us a little bit of what it looks like to use a mobile device with Instagram and take advantage of really how the platform is kind of built. Facebook, who owns Instagram, has really invested in the application as a mobile platform to be used with your mobile device primarily. And I won't get into this in this particular presentation. There are utilities that allow you to do it from a laptop with a little bit more control, and Instagram can be accessed from your laptop, but you're going to see a limitation on what your experience is there compared to what you see when you use a mobile device. And some of those platforms are free to use initially, or at least for a limited amount of accounts, and then you can pay and get more features, more information on that, and I'll share a little bit of what those platforms are a little bit later here. So this is really going to be basic Instagram. There won't be any reinventing of the wheel here. This is going to be some foundational information on how to use not only Instagram, I think across the board with all social media, really kind of understanding the way it works. Once you figure out, there's a couple of pictures here of restaurants, for example. Once you figure out how to use, let's say, your cooking appliance or your oven, you know the nuances of how to get whatever you're baking, whatever you're cooking just right. And I think with social media, it's the same way. You kind of have to figure it out a little bit and see what works best for your business. So there's certainly not a one way fits all. It's more of a, let's try this and see what happens, and react to that in a way that fits your business. And Instagram itself may not be a good fit for your business, but there's a good chance that you can try it, see how it goes, and see if your customers are there, because if they are, then that's a great place to engage them. So let's start here. Like I said, this is Instagram for Business. If your business is really, if you're a sole proprietor or even just a creator who is creating content and has an Instagram account, it's okay to convert it to a business account and get a little bit more information from it and leverage it more as a tool for your business, even if you are operating as an individual. So that's something I'll show a little bit of why that's important and why it's a good idea to convert. If you have an existing Instagram account, maybe converting it to a business account in order to take advantage of those things. It's not a big deal if you don't, but it may be something to consider. So that's kind of why this is framed as Instagram for Business. Moving on here, really just to what to start with. If you don't have an Instagram account, you can create an Instagram account for free. The platform is free to use as a business. It's free to post. There really isn't any limitation on how you can use the platform. They really monetize, or they make their money when people advertise through their platform. So just like Facebook, in where you can create a business account or a business page, you can create an Instagram account or a business Instagram account and use it for free, with the exception that if you want it to reach a larger audience, or if you want to use it as an advertising platform, that's when fees come into play. That's when you can give Instagram money, and they'll present your business and your ad to their users based on your selection or your demographic choices. So that's how they make money, but you don't need to use that or do that in order to use the platform. It's completely free. In order to sign up, you can do it from a laptop or a desktop computer using Instagram.com, or you can also use your Facebook account. So when you go to Instagram.com and it asks you to sign up, there's an option to use an existing Facebook account. And there's some advantages to that, but it will depend on your whether or not you want your personal account to be associated with the Instagram account. And that's a personal choice, but that's something that you can use a single sign-on, your Facebook sign-on, to get to both platforms. They're both owned by Facebook, so they make it very easy to integrate between both of them. The other way to sign up is by downloading the Instagram app on your mobile device. So if you have an Apple iPhone or a Google Android phone, there is an app store that you can search for Instagram, download it, and as soon as you open the app, it's going to ask you to sign in or to create an account using the same way, either through an email address or through a Facebook account that you have already existing. Something to consider when you do create your account, you are able to create what's called a username. And when you start, you're starting with a personal account, not a business account, but I'll show you how to convert it. But when you do create that account, you want to think about your brand and your username to match your brand, because I forget what it is. It's something like you can only change it. You can only change your username so often inside the platform. So that initial change is fine, but if you want to change it again, you have to wait either 30 days or 60 days. You can't instantly change your username whenever you want. So think about that when you're signing up, is what's going to work best for your brand. A lot of times you can match maybe the username you use for Facebook, or maybe what you use on another social media platform. or just identifying your brand. For example, let's say Amazon. If Amazon's going to create an account, Instagram, the username they probably want to use is Amazon. They're powerful enough probably to let Instagram know that nobody else can take it. And so they don't have to deal with Amazon 123 or Amazon, 2020. But when you do yours, you're going to probably want to try to find something that matches. And if it doesn't match, you can get creative. For example, you can, if you see the third bullet point there, is try to find something that's identifiable to your brand, but be creative and add something to the end of that. So if your restaurant is called Good Burritos, and you want your brand to be at Good Burritos on Instagram, you can, someone's got to take that call. You can do at Good Burritos, but it may be taken by somebody. So in that case, you want to maybe use Good Burritos in your brand name and add something creative at the end of that. So it could be at Good Burritos Graham, or at Good Burrito Picks, or at Good Burrito, and then maybe a name of a product that you offer. Just be creative there, but also make it identifiable. I guess that's the most important piece, is you don't want something that's completely obscure to your brand or your product. So let's move on here to the next slide. So once you get in there, there's going to be some questions about your date of birth. They want to know that for security reasons, and they want to know a little bit more information about you and your business, and also you personally. Again, you're starting with a personal account, so it's going to be very personal when it comes to creating that Instagram account at first. However, we're going to want to convert it to a business account. And there's two reasons why, and this comes directly from Instagram's help center, or their content center, is you're going to access more business features and insights. Really, it's analytic data. It's going to have more information about who follows you. It's going to have information about how many people have seen your posts. And it's going to have information about who's engaging your business on Instagram through whether sharing your posts with others, whether it's liking or hearting. There's a little heart that they can do when they engage your posts in their feed. All of that data is valuable information that you can use later on to understand what is working and what is not, what type of posts are getting a lot of engagement and what type of posts are not. So that's one very good reason to upgrade your account, or change your account, or convert your account to a business account. The second reason is it's going to display as a business. It's not going to display as an individual or personal account. It's going to display as a business. You'll see public business information under your profile, and you'll want to display that information to the people who follow you, or to the people who look at your profile, in order for them to contact you. So things like your phone number and your website are key in getting people to not only contact you, but also to maybe take a look further at your business, who you are, what you do, and understand a little bit more about your business. So that's information that's not available when you are a personal account, but only as a business account. So those are two great reasons to convert: more data about who's engaging your profile, and displaying that you are a business and how to reach you through Instagram in order to do business with you. So how to do that? It's very simple. You go into, now this is the key point, you have to do this through the mobile device. Remember when I said that you have some limitations if you're using a laptop or a desktop computer? This is really one of the main limitations you're going to encounter. There's no way to do a conversion from a personal account to a business account unless you're on a mobile device using the Instagram app and signed in under your account. What will happen is you will want to do that, sign in from your iPhone or your Android device. And once you're signed in, you're going to see a profile that you can tap on. It'll look like a little user ID. And that's where you're going to go into your settings and tap the account settings and click switch to professional account. It doesn't say business, it says professional. Once you click on that, it's going to ask you, are you a business or are you a creator? Really the differences there are just how you're categorized or what's going to show up underneath there under your account when other people view it. Being a creator, you're going to probably have other channels that you'll want to promote, like YouTube or other places. But in this case, you'll want to select business. And the reason is you're going to have the ability to show your phone number and website and things like that and your address if you have a storefront. So you would select business, and then it's going to ask you a category that best fits your business. And it's a long list, and so you just want to start to type maybe the best way to describe your business. If you're a restaurant, you can type in restaurant, and then you'll get a list of what types of restaurant. If you're a gift shop, you'll want to mention that you're maybe a retailer or you're a store, and then it'll show you different types of retail or store options. If you're a grocery store, or if you're a bank, or if you're a landscaping service company, you'll want to try to find something that perfectly fits you. Now, that's going to be tricky when you get into the service field because every service is not going to be listed there, but a professional service might be just the best fit. So if you can't find, let's say, electrician as a category, professional service would probably be a good fit for you to work with. Anita, I see you talking, but I don't hear you.
Be able to show us this when we get to share your app?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's try it. So okay. Can everybody see my phone here?
If anyone's having trouble, just let us know in the chat. Yeah, I think we're fine.
Okay, good. So so I'm logged in here on my phone into Instagram, and there's this splash screen, and there also is a you'll see kind of an overlay there. That's the application I'm using, and I wasn't able to get rid of it before this presentation, so I apologize for that. But down here in the bottom right, you'll see a little person in the very bottom right. Okay, and that's where you would hit your profile, and then you see over here where it says edit profile. You're going to be able to go in and edit your profile and change it down in the bottom here to a business or a professional account. So you would go in, select professional, and this is where it's going to ask you if you would like to connect it to Facebook. It's going to ask you for a category, and then it's going to ask for your contact information all right down here on the bottom. So if you have a Facebook page that is a business page, you would want to go ahead and connect it here. And when you do connect it, it's just going to ask you to sign in using your Facebook credentials that have access to your business page. If you want to keep them separate, you do not have to do this, but it's an option for you because they're both built on the same platform, or they're both owned by Facebook. They allow this to be a very very connected platform between Facebook and Instagram. When it comes to your category, like I said, I'm going to just do electrician here to see what comes up. Okay, so electrician is here, and but you can see there's just a limited amount of options when it comes to electrician or electronics. So finding something that may be a little bit more general is going to help you out. But this category is important to make sure you identify your company, what they do, what they provide, and how to kind of sort through the large amount of companies that are here on Instagram. Let me go back here. And then once you've selected your category, you'll also have the option to add your contact information. Now, what's important here is this can be different than your personal information. So, for example, if you sign in and you use your personal Gmail account or Outlook.com account, that's fine, and that's how you'll sign into Instagram. But what you want publicly displayed is different than your personal information. This is publicly displayed information in Instagram that includes your business email, your business phone number, and then your business address. And then there's also an action button here that if you wanted someone to take an action and maybe book an appointment with you right from Instagram, this is where you would integrate that. So I know a lot of, let's say, barbershops, salons, and even mechanics, auto mechanics are doing, they're not letting people just show up or do walk-ins right now because of COVID. They're only allowing you to schedule your appointment ahead of time, pay for it, and then arrive at your scheduled time in order to get service. So, for example, here you can see there is quite a few different applications you can use to allow people to just schedule an appointment with you. Acuity here is a very, very common one. For people who use Square for their, let's say, a point of sale system, Square has an appointment module that you can use for scheduling appointments. And the list goes on here, as you can see. There's quite a few options. So that's a very handy tool for someone who wants to be able to have them schedule an appointment. This is great. And then lastly, down at the bottom, you'll see profile display. Now, again, this is information that you want to make publicly available or not. So you want your contact info to show, and then it shows you what it would look like when you're on Instagram, and then your category label. So that information will allow you to narrow down exactly what you do and who you are, because your brand name may not say that. Your name would certainly not say that, but then when you display your category and your contact info, it can be very helpful for people who are looking at your Instagram account and seeing, oh, okay, you're an electrician or you're a landscaper and you're located in Worcester, Mass, or something like that. All right, so there's also a couple other fields here that I did not fill out, like website and bio. It's important to fill that information out with what you do or who you are and what you do. I wouldn't sell here. I'd be very just direct. You know, my name is John, and I own John's Pizza on Fifth Avenue in New York, and we are known for our cheese pizzas, and that's it. You know, I wouldn't get into selling or making any offers or doing anything like that. Just be very direct about who you are and what you do, and that's a great place for people to just read up on you.
We have a question, Roberto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Under the add an action button, one of our attendees only has gift cards and order food choices. How do you get a schedule button?
So I believe that's tied to the category.
Ah,
Yeah. This is very similar to what you'll see like on Google My Business. Google My Business also has, they make available only what at least what they think is applicable to your category.
interesting.
Yeah. So what I would do is if they want to allow scheduling an appointment or see if that's an available option, try a different category. I'm assuming they picked restaurant. Oop, if I could type rest. And now that I've picked that, let me save that. And then let me go to,
This
contact
person's
options,
category is health and beauty. But
health
for
and
some
beauty.
reason, yeah, the only categories were gift cards and order food choices.
That is strange.
Hmm.
So let me go here. They said health and beauty, right?
Health and beauty, yep. Okay.
And oh, come on.
Oh, there it is. Add an action button. Okay.
Oh, that's a great question, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe they've converted it to a business, right? Or are they creator? What did they select? And that
That's
may be part of the troubleshooting that we could do maybe later on or offline. But
okay. And Sarah Lee, do you want to get on for a second? If you just want to unmute yourself and tell us more about your question.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
yes, hi, Sarah
Okay.
Lee.
Hi. Thanks so much for taking my question. Yeah, I was under a different category, but when I was listening to you, I went in and changed it to health and beauty. I was under local business, but
Okay.
when I press on action buttons, like I said, the only options are gift cards and order food. So I don't know if it takes a while for it to change my category, and maybe those would come up. I don't know why it's saying order food, but yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. So as you can see on the edit profile screen that I'm on right now, if I haven't saved it, which has that little checkbox in the top right,
Yes.
that's probably that's probably a factor in this. Let me see what I get now.
Well, I did
Yeah,
do that. It is showing me my category is health and beauty.
yeah.
So I don't know. It must be just a glitch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the other thing is too is when you see your page,
Yes.
or not page rather, when it asks you if you are a company or a creator, a business or creator, what did you select? Did you select business?
It's just I don't remember because I set this up a while ago, but it does say public business information on the edit profile that I'm looking at.
Yeah, so that means you selected business. So I don't know. I'm not sure why that's the case. It could be, are you on an Android or an iPhone?
Android.
You're on Android, so am I on this device here. So that's a great question. I'm gonna make note of that and see what I can find out, and hopefully we can find out what's going on there. That's a great question.
Appreciate it.
So Sarah Lee, can we get back to you via email then? Because we have
That
your
would
email.
be yes. Thank you so much.
Great.
And thank you again. I'm going to unmute me.
Yeah,
Okay,
no problem.
great. Thank you. And we have another question as well. Do you have to use one of the action apps listed, or can you use a link to purchase on an established website? Like, in other words, like if someone could order directly from a website, do they have to go through one of the apps on the list?
Yes. Yeah, that's a great question. I would not use an action button for that. And if they don't, what I would do is put the website in here. So if you have like a designated landing page, which a lot of people will do is they'll put their website /Instagram or whatever the landing page might be, so that a good reason to do that is to be able to track how many people are visiting you from Instagram based on this website that you put here. So if you put your homepage, your analytics might tell you social media. It may not it may not tell you exactly where they came from if it was Instagram or not. But if you put a page that you only publish on Instagram, you don't make that available anywhere else, website.com/Instagram, whenever somebody clicks on it, you can track, okay, well, I've only had 20 visitors to that page this month. That means 20 people from Instagram have clicked on my button, because it's not public, it's not anywhere else. So I would put it here. I wouldn't use the action option that's designated in that other section here under.
So if you were a salon, you would put your name, Roberto Salon, you would use your username, and then you would put Roberto Salon / book an appointment kind of thing. And then is that how you would do it?
Yeah, I would put, salon.com here, and then / we'll just call it, Instagram, booking, or even let's just do it like that, IG, Instagram. And that would be my website, and then if I wanted to use, and on that page, you'd have the information about how to book and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But then
how to pay.
But I wouldn't put that URL, that website, I would not publish anywhere else. That's an exclusive page for Instagram users only. Gotcha. And you can even say that. Hey, thanks for visiting my website, or hey, Instagram follower, thanks for visiting my website, from Instagram. You could be very specific and targeted in that. And if you wanted to use the add an action button, I think you are kind of bound to what they offer. I don't think you're able to put in whatever you want. That's another great question, because many of us, like for example, I use a product called Appointlet, and I don't see it here as an option. So I couldn't use any of these products, or I'd have to switch over and use one of these just in order to add an action button there.
Okay.
So let me, these are great questions. Let me see, does this put the slideshow back up for you?
We're still seeing your screen.
Okay, but the phone screen, right?
Yes, the phone screen.
All right, so let me go back to this. Now, is this a slideshow?
It is.
Okay, great. So this was converting, we talked about converting to a business, and converting your Instagram account to a business, and how to get an Instagram account. So really the next thing is start using it, start posting. There's a lot of info out there about how to do this and how to instantly turn your Instagram into a, get 1 million followers. I would temper that as much as possible and just say, start using it. Get familiar with it. The more you use it, the more familiar you are going to be with it. For example, if you were to, let's say, just set a goal. Let's say you're a restaurant, and I would just set yourself a goal for every day that you're open. Maybe it's not every day. Maybe you're only open 5 days a week or 6 days a week. For every day that you're open, commit to taking one photo of a dish or of your restaurant or of the outside, where maybe you have some outside seating or something. Just take one photo a day and post it to Instagram. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have, it doesn't have to be real high quality. If the lighting is off, who cares? If there's too many shadows, who cares? Just do it. Really, you want to get into the habit of using or leveraging this platform as opposed to waiting till it's perfect. So here's some things to consider. Take pictures and video beforehand. So don't stress out about posting it at the moment you take the picture. Just take some pictures, and then you can go back and pick one. You're going to want to use a mobile device. Doing this on a desktop or a computer is going to cause too many stumbling blocks. You're going to have issues getting the photos that you want to your computer. If you're very savvy and you've got that all set up, maybe you've got photos that you have on your phone automatically synced to your computer, then that's fine. You can use a computer to do it. But it works best from your phone, and it's a little bit more instant and accessible right from your phone. And like I said here, don't worry about quality. I think that can be a hindrance. It's good to have quality up there, but take your time and but don't get caught up on it. I think it can hinder you more than it help you. And then something that's very important is to update what's called the alt text. And this is something that goes back to any website with photos on it. The alt text is a descriptor. It's really, think about it, think alt text as, how could I describe this photo to somebody who cannot see it? That there's two advantages. One, there's those who may be visually impaired who cannot see it or don't have the ability to, so they have a screen reader that's reading the alt text that comes from that photo. But secondly, Google and other search engines, they can't really see the photo and describe it themselves. They need help doing that, and therefore you putting that alt text is going to help them interpret or understand what the photo is about. And it doesn't need to be fancy. You can just say, this is a snapshot of my restaurant's front entrance, snapshot of front entrance, or snapshot of restaurants, dining tables, or snapshot of our eggplant Parmesan sandwich. That's all you have to put. You don't have to put anything too descriptive, because it'll take too long, really, is really why. If you wanted to take the time and be more descriptive, that's great, but I don't think you have to be. But you don't also want to just say sandwich. If you take a picture of one of your dishes and it's a sandwich and you just put sandwich, that doesn't help really describe what it is. Be a little bit more descriptive than that. Say Parmesan chicken parm sandwich, or photo of a chicken parm sandwich, and that is more helpful. Let's move on here.
One of the questions came up with, in your experience, are certain businesses better linked to Instagram? Like, do certain types of business do better on Instagram than other platforms?
Yeah, I think so. The most helpful piece of information that I've received and have been counseled on is your social media presence has to fit your business. If you are trying to be everywhere, you're going to fail at most of them, if not all of them. Instead, try to find the one that fits you or fits your audience, and then just invest in it. Invest in that one. It's okay to just use one. I think businesses can get caught up trying to be on all of them, and fail at all of them instead of just using one and being consistent at that one. So I think it's very helpful to think, if Instagram is not a good fit for your business, it's okay to say no and try something that is a little bit more applicable to your business.
And is it about your business, or is it about your audience? Like,
it's both.
Okay.
Both. That's a great question, Anita. I'd say both. But at the end of the day, it's the business owner doing the posting, or the business doing the posting. And if you can't consistently be there and engage, because it's just not a good fit, then, even though your audience or a portion of your audience is there, you not being there is more harmful. So that's why I would always advise whatever fits best. If you're not going to engage regularly on the platform yourself, meaning you're not going to follow your customers or like what your customers are doing, you don't have to agree with them, but being engaging as a business owner as well with your audience is part of the social network. It's not just a one-way conversation. It's got to be two-way. So liking and promoting and commenting on your customers who follow you or your audience who follows you is going to be part of the game. So it's a good idea to enjoy it and like it and be a part of it. So
got it. And I have just a basic question going back to how you set it up. We have a question from Emil. I want to create an Instagram account for the organization that I work for, and I don't want to link it to the Facebook account that I'm the admin. My question is, do I use my personal name or the organization name when you sign up?
So you're going to want to use your personal name just to abide by the guidelines of Instagram. But I would see, do you have a company email account?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, so I would use your company email account so that at some point, if you're not going to manage the Instagram account, you can hand it off to somebody else. Yeah. Okay. If you use your personal email, you're going to have to go through the process of changing your email on the Instagram account in order to hand it off to the business. So I would encourage using a business email when you
kind of an info at account.
Yeah, an info. You could use it like if you, let's say his name or her name is John at business.com. He can sign up using his email, John at business.com, but I wouldn't use his personal email to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great question. That causes all kinds of issues when people are trying to hand off responsibilities and things like that. So it can be difficult. So when you are starting here and you're posting, updating the alt text is important because it's going to describe what's going on here. And one way to do that is really through the app. You're going to click on your advanced settings and write alt text. So let's try this again and see if it works. I'm going to go back into sharing the phone here. Okay. So.
And I have a question from one of our attendees. Is that okay if I put her through?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Pam, you've got your hand raised. What you have to ask? Pam, are you there? You have to unmute yourself, please. Okay, well, maybe she'll pop in.
Did she write it in there?
No, she didn't. She raised her hand, and you have to unmute yourself, Pam.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go. That's okay.
I'm just trying to navigate the screen, and I clicked the hand wave, so I apologize for that.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No problem. Okay, so as you can probably see on my screen here, this is a gallery of photos on my phone that, let me go back here. So in an attempt to post, what I would do is click on the little plus sign down at the bottom here. And I don't know if you saw it, but Instagram is going to ask for permission to access your files on the phone. And you want to be careful. Obviously, your personal device has a lot of info on it, and you don't want to give apps too much permission. But in this case, in order to use a photo that is already taken on your computer, or rather on your mobile device, you have to give it permission to see the files. So in here I have some pictures that I took at Barnes & Noble of some books that I was researching, layouts and stuff. That I won't get into it, but so here is a picture. There's also pictures of my kids on here, sorry. So I select a picture and then I hit next, and then you obviously have access to filters and things that can allow you to modify what it looks like, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can also filter or change, you know, if it's a vignette, you know, how you want that to look. And then once you're done, you would click next. And what you see here is really what's going to go in the post. You can write a caption describing, but this is going to be visible to the user, the caption. This is, you know, visible to the visitor, you know, who's looking at your profile. Boy, it won't auto. Okay, here you can tag people. Tagging people, let's say you took a photo of a person or a place, another business, and they're in the photo. You can what's called tag them, which would basically link back to their Instagram account. And the way you do that is you would type in their username. Remember how we talked about personalizing that username so it's easily identifiable? I don't know if Brian Tracy is on Instagram, but if it was him, I think that might be him. Yeah, is it's easily identifiable. And you notice it said the Brian Tracy. Well, Brian Tracy wasn't available for him, so he got creative and said, I'm going to be the Brian Tracy. And that's why I can tag him very easily. If it was something obscure and hard to identify, then people would have a hard time tagging you. And let's say they're, let's say they're your salon or your restaurant, and people are using their personal Instagram to take photos of your salon, their haircuts, the updo they got, or the food that they ate. You want them to tag you. That's a good thing for you because it leads back to your business, but you have to make it easy for them. So in this case, you know, I'm tagging Brian Tracy. It was very easy to do. You can add a location. This helps for localizing where the photo was taken, and you can do that here. I'm not going to do that in this case, but and then you have the ability to post it to other platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. iOS on an Apple device may be different. Sometimes they allow other platforms to be listed here, but I'm not sure. So you'd want to take a look at what you have. But in order to add the alt text, you have to click this advanced settings here at the bottom. And as you can see, it says write alt text, along with a few other options, turning off commenting if you don't want people to make comments on this, accessibility, and then writing an alt text. And for this book, I'm just going to say, you know, it's a photo of Brian Tracy's book called Marketing. Now I could put, you know, apostrophes around that to make, highlight that it's a title or something like that. But basically, that's all I need. There's nothing more to put there. That's a descriptive enough alt text. So that's something you really want to make that a habit. It adds descriptors not only for those who are have a visual impairment, and in order for them to experience the photo, but it also helps from a search engine standpoint in Google and Bing, being able to interpret what the photo is about. And that is something that could show up in search queries when somebody's looking for that book by Brian Tracy called Marketing. It could be one of the photos that now appear on top of the search engine because I've appropriately identified it in the alt text. Otherwise, they wouldn't know. Google wouldn't know what it is. So that's really it. The last step here would be to share it, and once it processes the information, try again later. We restrict certain activity to protect our community. Tell me if this is a mistake. I don't know what that's about. I think it's because it's a new account. Or there may be a violation of copyright here. That's interesting. Just because it's a book cover, or it may think it's the inside of a book cover. So I'm not sure why it's not posting, but at least you guys can see what that process is like. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. Oh, Anita?
Nope, there's no questions. I just have, I have a question though. As Talitha said, it was extremely helpful. So the alt texts, are they seen by the public, or they're just used internally for Instagram?
They are seen, they are, let me make sure I clearly say this. They are seen publicly.
Okay.
But most, like you using Instagram, would never see it. It's called, it's like metadata. It's data about the file itself.
Okay.
So for example, like whenever you download a photo off the internet and you look at the properties of that photo, sometimes you'll see the file type. It's a JPEG or a PNG file. And sometimes you'll see the resolution and the DPI, or dots per inch. Well, the alt text is another piece of information that's inside of the file. So that's where, Google will see it. That's where Instagram will see it. The user may not see it, but somebody who's visually impaired and uses a screen reader, the screen reading software will see it. In fact, it looks for it to be able to describe the photo to the person using the screen reading software.
Okay. We do have a question, and that is, I see many people using hashtags when posting. Can you please talk about this? And can you also talk as well about the number of hashtags that people should use? Is there a maximum? Because sometimes when you see posting, it's like, there's obviously not a maximum.
Yeah, it gets, it can get obnoxious if anything. So I don't have it set up here next on the slides. This
as long as we get to it by the end, that's totally fine. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here. There's some tools I have screenshots for on how to research hashtags as well before you decide to use them. So, we covered how to set up your account. We covered how to convert it to a business account, and we did run into some hiccups there. I know some questions about the category and the actionable items, or the button that is available for like scheduling and things like that. And then we covered really get started using it, and one of the important things is to add the alt text here. So I have some. Just some of the information about the the analytics. My account is new that I created here, so there isn't really any analytics here, but I have some screenshots for you. And as you can see, here is a screenshot that is showing the activity that happened with a particular post and some of the insights you'll see. On the left-hand side, you can see the particular post that was published and some of the options of what you'll be able to look at once it's already posted. If you were to click on Insights, that very top option with the bar graph, it would take you inside here to see what has happened. And you can see there's been 7 profile visits, meaning somebody's 7 visitors have come to your profile, and one of them actually asked for directions. And then you'll see discovery, which is really more of your profile or the post that you posted has shown up in other people's feeds. They didn't necessarily look at it or even spend any time on it, but it passed through their feed. So that's a little bit more information that you would start to see if you convert to business or professional Instagram as opposed to a personal Instagram. Here is some information about the feeds that happen, how many feeds or posts are in your feed, and how many followers you have, and where are they following you from. This is an interesting stat here. You can see a majority are in Boston, Concord, Blodgett, Rochester, and then New York. You can filter it out by countries as well. And this is at the time of, that's a snapshot of a period of time between March 7th and March 13th. Again, these are some of the business settings and privacy settings and things that you can do once you decide to use Instagram for, let's say, advertising, where you can do promotional pieces where you reach a larger audience, but it's going to cost some money. And really, Anita, we're going to talk about this a little bit, but really figuring out the algorithm of how not only Instagram but other social networks is they're taking into account a lot of different variables. So whenever you post something, the engagement that you get is going to also lead to who else will see that feed. So, for example, if Anita, you were to post an Instagram post, and I'm a follower of yours, so that's going to show up in my feed. Now, it may show up in my feed on that day that you post it. It may show up on a day later. Maybe I don't visit Instagram for a day or two, and then I see it, a few days later. But when I look at it, and let's say it's multiple photos that I can swipe through, Instagram is seeing all that. They're noticing that I've stopped on my feed to look at your post, that I've gone through multiple photos, and whether I liked it or not, that I'm spending time on your feed. So that tells them your data or your information is something I'm interested in, right? If I were to like it, what happens is now my followers can see things that I've liked, or that'll start to appear in their feeds. And as you can see, that can quickly spread based on the type of content you put out and who likes it, who reads it, who looks at it, and then who comments on it,
Right.
put some feedback. And that's really that's why it's important not only to just post, but to be engaging with other people and liking what they do, commenting what they do, because it's going to build a relationship where things that I do will reflect on my feed for other people, and then vice versa. If they engage my content, like it, comment it, and look at it, it's going to affect their feed and the people who follow them. So it's kind of a and the algorithm knows this and sees all this data and then tries to present what people are going to engage with in order for them to stay on the platform. If your feed is full of junk and you don't read any of it, why would you stay there? And so that's why Instagram, it's in their best interest to keep you there. And so if they can show you the right things that you like because they see you spend time on it, comment and like on it, that's how that's going to grow your exposure, if you will.
Interesting. We have a question, Roberto. How did you get to the second screenshot?
This one? 1, 2. This one here?
Yes.
So these are older screenshots. Things are going to be a little bit different. And
Okay.
if you have not had a business account at all, if you've had a personal account, or if you've just converted it, you're not going to see this information right away. It's going to take some time. I think it's still week intervals. Like for example, here, this is a 1 week interval. That data will start to accumulate, and then you'll start to see more options. And what you will see, it'll be under the Insights tab. So let me go back. I'm going to share my phone.
And that's what someone said. Was it mentioned that you need a certain number of followers before you can unlock the insights? But you're saying it's not necessarily the number of followers, it's
No.
just time, right? Because it's got no data to
Right.
share with you because you just converted.
Yeah, so if I go to my profile, let's say I'm on my Instagram account here, okay? Down in the bottom right for Android, I believe it's the same on iOS, but in the bottom right, you see the little person profile. This is where your profile comes up. And if you look, the third tab over is Insights. And this starts to give me data about what's happened. And obviously I don't have anything. So
Right.
there's content, activity, audience. That's going to be demographic data that's going to show there. Activity is going to show how many people have interacted with my post versus discovered the post through the engagement that happens. You know, I follow Anita. She liked this restaurant's photo, and I see that. Therefore, I have discovered this restaurant through Anita, and that's what that data is going to show there. And then here, where you can see your posts, your stories, and promotions. These are the different types of content that Instagram allows. You can create a promotion, and that's obviously a paid way to get exposure through Instagram. So let me go back to the slideshow. One of the things that happens, and again, every person has to be careful here because they're using their personal device in a lot of instances here, is you want to give your app permissions you want to be careful about the permissions you grant. One of the app permissions is to allow Instagram to read your contacts. And what it will do is it will read the email addresses associated with your contacts and then try to match them with Instagram accounts that are already that are already established. Now, if this is your personal phone using for your business, your Instagram app, you may or may not want to allow that to happen. The advantage of this is if you do want it to happen and your contacts are people that you do want to connect with through Instagram, you're going to see a list of people that are on Instagram based on your contacts. And that can help build, you can start following those people or start engaging those people, and hopefully they'll follow you back. But if you are on your personal phone and it's a business, kind of you work for a business and you don't want them you don't want those associated, then you'll want to restrict access so that this stuff doesn't happen. And you have to be very careful. You'll get prompts asking you to allow certain things, and you just have to be careful. So do consider all of that. You can manually do this as well. If you are a business and you are looking to follow your customers, visit their website, look for an Instagram page based on their business name, look for people that you may follow on other platforms, and just look for their names, and just do it manually. That's a great way to be picky about how that works instead of having it grab all your contacts. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Roberta, so basically the questions come up. Is Instagram best used for photos as opposed to written content? And what about videos?
Yeah, videos. Let me talk about videos. So there's two. So videos are great for Instagram. There's stories, which can include video or photos. There's also, and I just looked this up. We just talked about it too, right, Anita? There is a TikTok competitor portion, if you will. So if you could think of TikTok short, 15, 30-second videos, Instagram has that option now. And so, yes, videos are great. There's also IGTV, Instagram TV, and that's a little bit more long form. I believe you can go live with that as well. So video is a great piece of content for Instagram. Do consider, as you use Instagram, do you want to sit down and watch it for, a long period of time? Do you want to sit there and watch a 10-minute video or a 20-minute video? Probably not. So do consider that. It's a good place to maybe put 15, 30-second, 1-minute, 2-minute explainer videos. But I wouldn't maybe use it for long-term content. But again, that's going to be, based on your business. And written content, I would say yes, but I would think of it in short snippets. I wouldn't get into, 500-word long form pieces. I have seen people do that, and it can be effective. If you have a large audience, you'll see celebrities and athletes do that, where they'll put they'll announce something, or they'll make a big long statement, and it's 500 words or more. But honestly, I wouldn't do that for your business. I would keep it simple. You can do short paragraphs in the same way I would advise for your website and how people consume data or consume information. Keep it real short snippets, bullet points. Think of them perusing your Instagram post rather than sitting down and reading it like it's a book or a long form piece of content. Make it very easy to consume. A restaurant could put a new menu item and put what you put in your menu. That's short, brief synopsis or summary of what it is. Maybe it pairs well with a particular wine, and that's it. There's nothing really more to say about it. Or put a link to it, maybe to the menu item on your website, and that's about it. If you want to do longer pieces, you can stitch them together. People do this on Twitter as well, is they keep it to, maybe 100 words, and they tell a story post by post because it's short, digestible pieces of information. And then they even stitch the photos together as well, where what you would see is almost like a PowerPoint presentation, slide by slide. You can do it in one post, or you can do it individual posts and only give enough information that people can consume it in one post at a time and just tell the story over 3 or 4 posts.
If you were to do a longer video, and let's say you did that in YouTube, the question has come up, Is there a way to post a link to then get someone over to YouTube? Could
Yeah.
you like show a snippet in Instagram and then kind of have them click for further video?
Yes, you could do that. The advantage to that is, yeah, you can give them a little sneak peek, put a little trailer or put even just the first, 30 seconds. And then the long form content can be watched over in YouTube.
Okay.
You have to be careful because Instagram wants people to stay on Instagram. They don't want them leaving to go to YouTube. So it's better if you can put it all in Instagram or modify it so that they're not missing out by staying on Instagram. Having them leave to go to another platform like your website or YouTube is really not part of the experience that any social network wants. They all want you to stay on their platform. And so you just want to consider that when you do create content. If it's a longer piece of content and you have the time to edit it and make it, maybe it's a 10-minute YouTube video that you can leave full 10 minutes on YouTube, but maybe you break it up into 5 2-minute videos, or 3.5 minute videos on Instagram in order for it to be consumed to that on that platform.
Right.
That's just something to consider. It's not, it's up to you to be creative and think about those rules, if you will. Every social media platform wants everyone to stay there. They don't want people leaving.
Right.
And the user experience is best when they don't leave. When they have to open up another app or another browser to consume other information, it takes them out of the experience that they're on Instagram for. So think about that, consider that, and make that part of your plan or how you're going to post.
So along those lines, though, someone was asking, can you connect a post to selling a product?
Yes.
Right. So again, but you're driving them away from Instagram. Are you suggesting, Roberta, that you're going to kind of get dinged for that if you're using a lot of your posting to get people somewhere else? Like if you're using Instagram as a vehicle to jump them over to a different platform?
So you won't get dinged for it or penalized or anything like that. It's more about you don't want to impact people's experiences. If you're constantly so for example, if I follow let's say I follow you have a shoe store, Anita, and you're every time you post, it's a link to your website and it's constant. You're taking me off of Instagram every time. It's not bad. It's not a terrible experience, but it is making me leave there. And so it would be better if you could keep me on Instagram and then I could read more of your posts and engage your business right from that platform. It's just a user experience piece. It's not really going to, over time, I think it could get exhausting where people have to leave. But what you can do is get creative and say, all right, let me see if I can keep you here and have you engage with my Instagram business as opposed to having to leave. So think about that and try to do that as best you can when possible.
So how does that relate to selling products then? Like how would that be best achieved?
So that's going to be best suited, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. This isn't gospel by any means, is to use an e-commerce platform that integrates with Instagram. For example, if you use Shopify as an e-commerce platform to buy or sell products, with, they have a plugin or an add-on. You probably have to pay a little bit more. And what it will do is it'll ask you to connect your Instagram account in order to sell products directly on Instagram. Another e-commerce platform is Ecwid, ECWID. That's who I use with some of my customers. There's others out there. Big Commerce, BIG Commerce is another one. And what that allows you to do is, one, put your product up online for people to buy it. And then two, it integrates with not only Instagram, but eBay, Amazon, Facebook, Google Shopping, and other e-commerce solutions, platforms that are out there. It lets you integrate. So you only have one place to to add your product, put your pricing, set up your payment processor. All that's done in one place, and then the product goes and is broadcast to all those other places, so that you don't have to, you don't have to upload your product to Instagram and upload your product to Facebook and upload your product to this place, your website. You don't have to do all that. You do it in one spot, and you manage your inventory. Let's say you're selling a book. You've got 100 in stock. You got your inventory. Okay. You set up your Equid account, add your book. You price it at $10, $2 shipping, whatever you do, you set it up, and then you say, okay, now publish to Amazon, publish to Instagram, publish to Facebook, publish to eBay, and I just manage my inventory and everything from one platform. And that's, my opinion, is the best way to do that. It saves you time, energy, hassle, and you don't get caught up in all the individual shops, if you will.
So somebody then jumps over to Shopify to actually purchase a product. They can then just bounce right back to Instagram, you're saying?
No, so they don't ever leave the platform. They actually purchase the product in Instagram.
Got it. So then yes, I see. So you've not broken up that experience you're talking about before. I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the same with Facebook, and the same with eBay or any of the other platforms. You're actually putting the product in Instagram.
Got it.
And they can purchase it, pay for it, everything without ever leaving the app.
Wow.
Now, this has been in the headlines, so you do have to be aware of this. In-app purchases, there's a fee, both on the Apple Store and on the Google Play Store. So you got to be aware of that. So when you go through the setup, you will learn about this. This is not new information by any means, but if somebody purchases something inside of an app, 30% of that purchase is going to go to the App Store vendor, which is Google or Apple.
Wow.
And that's been in the headlines, and it's a point of contention with some bigger businesses, but you need to consider that. It's unfortunate, but it's the way people do business today, and it's just an added, put that into the count that as into your costs when you're putting something up for sale inside of a social media network or app, that there's a fee that comes out of it. If they buy it through the website, that's not applicable. It's exclusively to apps and the app stores that you install them from. So,
and that's 30%. That's a lot.
Yes. Yep.
That's a lot.
That doesn't include, or let me rephrase that. It includes, I believe, your merchant services or transaction fees. So you know how you pay Stripe or PayPal or one of those processing companies. Right. That 30% is inclusive of that. So you'll know when you set this up how that all works, because you'll have to agree to those terms. But it's all inclusive, and they do that because they're the ones making the marketplace available. Mm-hmm. So it's something to consider. You don't have to do it, but people do it. Clothing stores do it. They'll do it on not only on Instagram but Pinterest and other platforms where they can sell their products, but they have to put a margin. You have to think about that added margin. Right. So,
and a question came up as a follow-up: how much extra for Amazon or Facebook in-app purchases?
Anything in an app. There's two types of ways to buy things. One is on a website using a web browser. So if you open up Google Chrome on your phone or Microsoft Edge or Firefox, those are you're visiting a website and doing it like you would on your computer. So
Right.
there's, as far as I know, the fees are minimal or just your processing fees. Amazon may have a small percentage of that, a 0.5% or something. I'm not sure exactly, but that's a website purchase like any other vendor.
Mm-hmm.
When it's in an app, so inside the Facebook app or inside the Instagram app, which the app comes from the store, then it's an in-app processing fee. That's where that comes from.
So Amazon not being an app, it would be the processing fees, the
Right,
typical Amazon fees, right?
Right, but Amazon is, and this is part of the, if you go online and read about the Apple App Store, this is really where it's coming from. The Apple App Store negotiated a deal with Amazon to lower that percentage. So I don't know what it is. I think it's something like 15%, but Amazon has exclusive special deals with Apple, and this is all in the news because I forget the name. Epic Games, the people that make Fortnite, that video game Fortnite, they're the ones suing Apple. They got kicked off the App Store. Apple countersued, and it's all in the news about these in-app purchases and the 30%, and it's quite a messy spaghetti mess. So you want to read up on it, and if you're interested in doing that, it'll take some time to try to weed through it all. But just know that if you are using Instagram to purchase or sell products, there's added fees that you will see when you set it up. You'll see the terms you got to agree to.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it is. It's a great experience for the user. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it comes at a cost to the business owner. So make sure you mark things up appropriately.
Right.
So I just have a few more slides, and these are just examples and showing you a little bit about how the interface works. Things have changed. Instagram is constantly changing, so not everything here is 100% accurate, but you have channels where posts can be seen. If you look here on the left-hand side, watch IGTV videos. Those are more long posts or longer videos that people can put up. You can see who you're following. You can see what what other people are following and what's popular. We're going to get into those hashtags here very quickly here. This is an example of a video that somebody made, and I can't really see. It's 2 minutes and 55 seconds. It's a 3-minute video, but it shows them decorating a cake. Maybe it's a baker showing off what they can do. That's a great example of a successful video that could be used not only on Instagram, but also on something like TikTok. You can save posts or save channels. So that's something to note for your own use. Whenever you don't have time to engage something, you can always save it. Lastly here, I'll talk about connecting your Instagram account. Now, I would be careful with this. I think it's a good idea because you can limit really how much time you spend on both platforms by posting to one and having it go on both. I think this is a great way to connect the two. Basically, you have to do it from your Facebook page. You would go to your news feed, click on pages, and then connect your Instagram account, which you'll see on the left-hand side. Now, Facebook has changed their interface, so I'm not sure if this is going to be completely accurate, but it used to be a left-hand column under your page settings, your business page settings now, not your personal. And Instagram was one of the options on the left. Once you select it, you would hit connect, sign in with your Instagram credentials, and then it would connect the two pages, allowing you to basically engage your content with both channels. So you could post to one and it'll go on both accounts. Okay, hashtags. So hashtags are, let me just explain them real quickly. They're a way, whenever you have a database filled with information, you want to be able to somehow categorize them in a way, categorize each entry in order to filter through them. So when you go to Amazon or you go to Walmart and you want to filter out products that are 4-star and up, that's a filter or a category that's applied to every item in there, and it allows you to filter out what you don't want to see versus what you do want to see. Hashtags, or what people probably remember when they used to use phones to make phone calls, is the pound sign. It's the number symbol that you see there, like this. So whenever you use a hashtag, all you're really doing is assigning a category to your post so that people can filter by that category. That's all it is. And there are certain hashtags that are very relevant or are very popular at a particular point in time. But one of the best ways to use a hashtag is a way to identify engagement with your brand or with your business. And I think one of the best examples of this is the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. They do a segment on their show, I forget what nights it's on, but where you hashtag their show or their segment, whatever it's called. I think it's late night hashtags or something like that. If you respond to their show with that hashtag, they can filter it out and then they use them on the show. So it makes it easy for them to find responses and use them on their show in the same way you can use them in order to identify things that you're doing at your business or your brand. So for example, let's say you're doing, this is scones, but let's say you were doing a summer treat. Let's say you're a restaurant and you're creating desserts and summer treats for your business. You could say you could tell people who come to your restaurant, who eat your desserts and take photos, to tag them or hashtag them summer treats. And that would allow you to filter anybody who's using that summer treats, and then you can use them on your feed. You can repost them, you can share them, or you can use them in some of your marketing materials. But it allows you to just find them, identify them, and find them. Now you can get more specific and say, my business is called, my business name is Vanilla Bean or something like that. And you could say hashtag Vanilla Bean Summer Treats and let people know that. And that just allows you to identify when people take a photo and post it on Instagram and it's of your business's desserts, how to find them. So that's a great way from a business side. When you are posting, you want to do the same thing, obviously, but you can also kind of ride the coattails of other hashtags. And you'll see this where people will they'll do every single, they'll have 20 or 30 or 40 hashtags. Don't do that. Pick the fewer the better. Let's just put it that way. So find 1, 2, 3 that really are descriptive, make sense of what you're doing, and don't just try to broadcast it to a million different hashtags. Just figure out the ones that best suit you and best describe what you're posting, and just stick with it. Don't spend too much time on this because it'll consume you. You really want to just pick the ones that work best, and then pick one that's maybe identifiable to your brand that nobody else uses. So if it's a hashtag, your business name, maybe you throw your city and state on the end of that, just to identify your business a little bit more. Maybe you have a business name that's used across the country by other businesses, but you want to make sure it's yours that's identified, then just use your city and state or your city name to stand out a little bit. Here's an example of, I think, too many, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just, bold baking, bigger, bolder baking, bold bakers. Like really, it's just too much. If you want to, like Huffington Post has HuffPost taste. If you want to make it, as part of their campaign, then fine, use it. If you're trying to use it for, let's say you're going to try to get on, you're responding to Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show and you wanted it to be there, then fine, identify their hashtag and then use your hashtag that you're identifying with, with it. But keep it, I think these are too many and they're kind of annoying. So I would just keep it to a few. You're not going to get in trouble for using all of them. It's really a matter of opinion, really.
Yeah, that is a lot.
You could
is a lot.
You could you could troll, I'll use that term, and put a bunch of hashtags, and at the very bottom put hashtag too many hashtags and be funny about it. So
Roberta, we're at 2:30 and I wondered if you have any concluding remarks. This has been great, and everyone thanks you so much for spending time and explaining Instagram really, really well. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, let me just do this last one. I know somebody had asked about this. So there are websites to see, to kind of research hashtags. Here's a few of them. Hashtag directory, hashtags.org. I would look at them. It's not going to hurt. Their data is not always up to date, but it's a great place to just check it out and see what's going on there. And it may help you find a hashtag you really like, or see if a hashtag is even being used, and then you can find a unique one that's not been used yet. But I just wanted to put that up there. My last piece of advice here is Instagram may work for you. There's a behavior pattern on all of the on all social media platforms. LinkedIn is, keep it professional, add value in everything that you do there. It's not really about cat photos. Facebook, it's more, being maybe fun and showing, viral videos and things like that. There's demographics for all the platforms, so consider that. The younger audience is certainly on Instagram and on TikTok. Facebook has an older audience, etc. But really find what works for you. Don't go chasing what's hot. Just if it works for your business, if you can be consistently adding content regularly and adding value regularly, then it's a good fit, and just stick with it. And if it's only one, then it's only one. It's totally okay. Nobody's gonna put you in the corner for not using enough social media. So, all right.
Roberto, I just put the list up of the upcoming classes so all of you know. You'll be receiving these slides. Again, this is available on Facebook Live immediately and on YouTube in about 5 to 7 days. So, Roberto, we just want to thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.